Good morning. Good to see all of you here. My name is William, and I'm the Managing Director for Temasek Life Sciences Accelerator. Now, this morning I'll be moderating a panel with three guests from Indonesia. So let me give you a first, very warm welcome to our friends from Indonesia.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone. Thank you.
It's really great to see all of you here, right? And I think after 2 years of pandemic, it's very refreshing to be able to do this in person. And also thank you to those who are watching online. I think the best benefit for those who are here is that they can go around to also visit the booths, talk to the entrepreneurs, visit your booths, right, over there. And as well as pick up some of the freebies. So look out for the nice mask that Jalal have. Good. So, let me then welcome our A-list panelists this morning. A-list because their first name happened to all start with an A.
Yeah.
So first, we have Arka.
Hello, my name is Arka.
Arka is the founder and CEO of
Bell
Society.
Yes.
All right. And next we have Anissa.
Yeah. Hello everyone.
Anissa is also the founder and CEO of Reservoir. And finally, we have Ario.
The third A.
The third A. And Ario has two companies, from Inmira as well as Jalal Tech.
Yep. Hello
Good.
everyone. Nice to see
Good.
you here.
So, I think, this morning, of course, the topic is on Indonesia and emerging green technologies from Indonesia. So what the three of them have in common really is building businesses from, green technologies. So let's hear from each of them, let them introduce themselves and also hear about their company, shall we? So let's start with Arka.
Okay. So use the video or just directly?
So can we have the video please, Steve? Thank you.
Ini sangat bersyukur bahwa kulit kopi itu masih berguna.
Bell Society is a biomaterial company that focuses on converting organic waste into micelle, leather-like material that is made by using bacteria to convert organic sources into sheets of cellulose. We partner with farmers and designers to create sustainable product that is degradable and natural, protecting the environment through research and innovation. Our name derives from the bell curve, a curve and statistic that describe how biodiversity is distributed on Earth. Currently, we are partnering with 3 coffee farmers, creating a loop of goodwill by utilizing coffee skin waste that they produce, from waste to value, from farmers to designers, from Pangalengan to Milan. Micelle is strong and engineerable. We can create it on large sheet of 1 meter square and can be scaled accordingly. It uses no toxic chemicals, uses natural colorant, have a distinctive smell that make this material unique, and by the end of the day it can be composted. Our material is produced in Indonesia and has been distributed on several countries, which is Dubai, Turkey, and most recently in Milan Fashion Week. With this material we are starting an initiative called Cakradonya. It means a message through growth. It is a group of well-known local brands that is selected to release product by utilizing micelle in year 2022, making an impact with every product made. With this collaboration, we are creating a sustainable product collection. Our goal is to make this a worldwide phenomenon, a material that will become the key in creating a healthier Earth. Locally sourced, global possibilities. Let's ring the bell.
Let's ring the bell. Yeah. So this is the material that we make. This is MTEX. You can see it our booth and the H3. Thank you.
Thank you, Akar. So Akar, Bell Society is a very interesting name. Maybe you could tell us how did you come up with this and why Bell Society?
Yeah. So I'm majoring in biology, actually, in ecology. So when I was a college student, I read about a curve that is called the bell curve. Yeah. It depicts about normality, but also how biodiversity are distributed on Earth. So in the equator, there are more biodiversity and it's getting less, which it poles. So the Bell Society names, comes from our goal to protect the biodiversity, hence Bell Society. Yeah.
Interesting. And you were showing us this material which you call MTEX.
Yes, this is MTEX.
So how did this idea come about?
So actually, this is start as a college project too. Back then, my goal is actually to create papers. So Indonesia has a lot of tree cut down to make papers, right? And after that, I found out that there's some bacteria that can convert organic waste into some sort of cellulose sheet. But we found out that it's really strong and it can be used for other purposes. So we found out that the leather industry is a growing industry. So every year it grows by 7%, but the production only grows by 4%. So there is a need for an alternative. The alternative are synthetic leather, which is plastic based. So it's not degradable, it uses a lot of toxic chemicals. So we use the material that we make for that, for leather replacement. Yeah, this is using all natural colorants. It is just as strong. So yeah, that's why we make this.
Yeah, but what's so green about replacing leather?
Yeah, so this is made by converting coffee skin waste. So the bacteria that we use, they eat coffee skin waste. So we give them feed and then they will eat it. They will form sheets of it. And it is basically cellulose, so it is degradable. It is degradable. You know, fashion industry produce a lot of waste. Fast fashion especially, we buy a lot of fashion and then we throw it away. It becomes dumps on our dumpsters. It keeps piling up, yeah. So I believe if we can find something that is degradable and also in the process not using any toxic chemicals, it will be better for us and also for the environment. Which is why I believe this is the material for the future, yeah.
And also a material like this can be converted in a lot of products. What are some of the products that you are putting this material on?
Yeah, so a lot of things actually. This shoe right here that I use, this is made from MTEX too. This wallet is also made from MTEX. We made sofas, we make panels, yeah, a lot of things made for this. Because the textures and the strength is comparable to leather, there are many ways that we are still exploring. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course some of you may know that leather, the traditional way of getting leather is from cow production, and so of course cow, in the process of production is also very high emission of methane, right?
Yes.
So this is a greenhouse gas.
True,
so that's
true.
another kind of angle of your green technology.
Yeah. So the leather industry use a lot of toxic chemicals to make it stronger, to make different colors. Usually they use some kinds of substance called chromium. It's actually really bad for the environment. So if we create something, our goal is to make an all-natural replacement for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is an excellent effort, right, from your research in synthetic biology. So my question is, how did you move from lab to market, right, with your innovation?
Yeah, that's the hard part actually. So after we started the research in 2019, and we keep sending the materials to brands. We keep getting rejected, and after several years of research in 2021, actually, they have started. Okay, we can use this, and so the problem is the scaling part. How to make it stronger. Yeah, that's the problem that we have to solve every day. But right now we can produce about micelles, MTEX, size 19 times 90 centimeters, and we can produce about 200 meter squares per month. So yeah, we believe that it could be even scale bigger. Yeah.
So in fact, in this industry, we see a lot of Western companies, and they have gone on to actually raise a lot of money. So why is it that we're not seeing, many in Asia, and what makes you different?
Okay, so I guess it's about the consumers maybe. So I believe it has to start not only with us, but also with the society around us. Because if the market does not really understand about why do we have to buy natural goods, why do we have to use sustainable products, then it will be harder for the materials to be introduced. So, which is why I believe, and outside of Indonesia, there's a lot. Yeah. But we are different because if you see a lot of material that is something like this, usually they cost really high, about maybe per meters, they sell about 150 euros per meter, but we want to make it more affordable. So we want to make some sustainable, more affordable for people, so that the products is also more affordable for the market too. Yeah, for right now, per 1 meter square, we sell about $40 to $50. So yeah, it's really more affordable than that. And because we are based in Indonesia, the waste itself is really abundant. There is really a lot of waste that we can process, not only in coffee. We can make it from fruit waste. We have already tried pineapples. Yeah, a lot of things we can make, but currently we are focusing on the coffee waste. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And I think also a lot of the fashion houses have procurement or factories in this part of the world. So I think that's a great kind of supply chain that you could add value to. Thank you so much for joining us today. And shall we move on to the next presentation by Anissa?
Yeah, thank you, Willem. Can you please? Yeah, so hello everyone, good morning. My name is Anissa and I'm from Reservoir. So here's the number of flooding. 5 million people affected, 5,000 fatalities, more than 500 billion US dollar of average annual losses. I believe everyone in this room know about this problem, right? You are all aware of this. So what have you done? What have you done about it? It's a hard problem, everyone knows about it, but I don't think we could do, what can we do about it, right? Maybe you can start by not littering, because litter is one of the problems. They clog the drainage. You can try to push your government to do something about it. But what else? What can we do about it? So me and my friend, we are from the material science background. We decided that, well, maybe we can do something. We try to focus on the problem, that is the impervious land in our cities, and we try to make it more porous. What if we can change the concrete that cannot infiltrate water into something that can? So that is actually what we do in 2019. We continuing our research and then transferring the technology to the industry, and then we commercialize the permeable pavement that we call Pore Block. And since we already implemented 10,000 square meter of Pore Block in Indonesia, in West Java, Jakarta, and Lombok, we'll help the architect and the developer, our client, to contribute to solve this flood problem. But in those years, we realized that the problem is much bigger than that. The customer, the developer, the architect didn't know the condition of their area. They cannot do anything about it because they don't know the data. The second one, they don't know what is the available technology for this. And the third one, even if they already know, they don't know how to integrate this system with each other and also with the existing system. So we realized that if we want everyone to be able to reduce flood risk, we need to make it easy. We need to make it affordable, easy to access, and everyone knows about how to implement it. That is why we want to promote this zero runoff technology. That is, first of it is the permeable pavement that we developed in those 3 years, and then we also integrate with the infiltration well, the other product, and also the rainwater harvesting system. Not only the product, we want to make it easy for our customer, to the client, to everyone, by providing the data with our digital platform and then suggest the technology, what is the most suitable technology in that area. If they have any question, we can help them by having an expert in our platform. And also we want to make this platform as a source of news and information. And then after that, from that news, we can have a discussion with local stakeholders. So then we can working together to solve this problem together. So our team consists of my previous startup, the one who developed Pore Block, but we're also joining forces with other startup that has similar goal, because we know that to solve this bigger problem, we need to collaborate. That is why we joining forces, and we want to contribute to the SDGs, number 9, 11, and also number 13. So sustainable cities and communities, and also to prevent the climate action. For us, flood is a man-made disaster. So it is our collective responsibility to solve it. And reservoir lets you do it simply. So that's from us. Let's discuss it further in this panel. And if you can also go to our booth at D6 or drop us an email or visit our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Anissa. So how do we pronounce the name of your company? Is there a special meaning behind this name?
Yeah, so it's reservoir. So reservoir is like reservoir, like it's a
body of water,
body
reservoir.
of water.
Okay.
Yeah, so our goal is to give access for everyone to access water. Because, water is irony. In Indonesia, when it's rainy season, it's flooding. But it's dry season, it's drought. So why? We need to manage our water so that everyone can access it whenever they want.
Yeah, certainly. I think, because of climate change, there has been a lot of flooding that's happening around the world, including in Singapore, right? So in Indonesia, how can your products then, or your solution, provide the answer to this flood problem?
So we believe that flood is a man-made disaster, and one of them is because we develop our cities by breaking the natural cycle of water. The water should be, when it rains, it should be infiltrated into the soil. But because we develop our cities with concrete and covered it is a concrete jungle, like in our cities. That is why we break that cycle. And by using this technology, the concept of zero runoff, where we manage the water where it falls, we try to restore that cycle. That is how we try to reducing the flood risk and fight the climate change.
So how did you come into this space? In the beginning, like what prompted you to get into this space?
Okay, so it's a personal reason. It's just because I love nature. I love going hiking. I love to climbing the mountain, and it is selfish as it seems, but I want to live the rest of my life like that, and also the next generation to be able to experience that. And it is heartbreaking to see that my cities, every day that I live in that, it's changing. The floods is become worse every day, every year, and I don't know if in the future will it be better or not. So that is why I need to do something. I cannot just sit back and hope for some miracle to happen. I need to do something. That's why I entered the scene.
So you started actually by founding Poblock. So
yes,
that was the first startup, right?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Tell us, what gave you that idea, right? Moving from your aspiration to want to change the world to starting with Poblock.
So because my background is material science and my city is in Bandung, if you need to go to Bandung, it's in highland area, but it's flooding. So it's weird because it's supposed not to be flooding, but it is, and we realize it is flooding because we developed the higher lands with concrete, so it should be the area where the trees can absorb water, but we changed that. But as a developing countries, we cannot stop the development because it will harm our economy, and so there's a lot of social impact from that. So how could we align those things? We keep developing the economies and the society, but we also be good to our environment. That is why, from our perspective as material, let's just change the material, and that's the inspiration.
Right, and then how do you then move from Poblock to Reservoir?
Yeah, because after 3 years of commercializing Poblock, we realized that there is a bigger problem, a more fundamental problem that we need to solve. If we want to reduce this problem, we need to go all out, not just providing the product, but also the services and the other consultation as well. So that is why we decided, just last month, we decided to create this new startup.
Oh, so Reservoir is a new startup?
Yes, it is very new,
see.
Very baby.
So with all this weather patterns that's changing, how is Reservoir able to meet the challenges going forward?
So I believe that we need to make drastic change to be able to fight or adapt to the climate change. But even with a drastic change, I think the nature would take time to heal itself. So Reservoir, with our product and services, with the concept that we want to promote, we will support the nature to heal by itself, by having the time to heal by itself, by creating to restore the natural cycle of water. So that's our main goal. We just want to, restore the cycle, and then hopefully it will help the nature to, become better from the climate change.
Good, thank you very much, Anissa.
Okay.
And finally, we will move over to Pak Aryo. So,
Hello.
Yeah, and you have a video to show us as well? Yeah, shall we roll the video, Steve?
Wah, ada mas, 3 tahun rugi terus. Orang kalau ada masalah mau diapain kita nggak tahu. Orang kita cuma ikut-ikutan.
Back in 2001, my father and I started to farm shrimp. Years with ups and downs, my father once told me that in the future, you should be able to talk to the shrimp. When my father passed away, I think about it on and on. And in 2015, our team built the IoT water monitoring platform as a start, leaving the gut feeling behind when addressing the water issue.
Jala helps shrimp farmers to improve the way they're farming shrimps in easier, effective yet efficient with tech-savvy solution. We allow our shrimp farmers to make data-driven decisions, double their production with IoT and farm management apps. These digitalizations help not only achieving outstanding performance on the farm, but also making a connections to the market access, financing, and support from experts.
Jala provides a solution utilizing the IoT water quality device linked to the Jala Farm Management app, where a farmer can record and monitor their water quality and cultivation data easily. By using Jala app, farmer can track their farming progress from the latest prediction of shrimp growth, productivity to the harvest estimation. This insight help them create a better decision and better result. Jala aims to help farmers optimize their cultivation and create a sustainable shrimp industry that supports traceability.
Technology can double productivity and double profitability for farmers. But we're not stopping there. With Jala, we want to make sure the world will eat sustainable and traceable shrimps.
Very nice.
Yep. Thank you.
So, Pak Aryo, you have been involved in environmental rehabilitation, sustainable kind of agri-tech space for a long, long time, even before they became the buzzwords, right, of the day.
Yeah.
So what got you started in this journey?
Yeah, just like you say, it's a journey. So there is no specific aha moment for me to enter these sustainability things, actually, because as you said, I was started pretty early, because you mentioned that one of my company Inmira is actually founded by my late father back in the 1986. So when I was just 10 years old. No, it's 8 years old. So back then, the sustainability things, back to nature things is not a buzzword yet, because especially in Indonesia, I don't know in other countries, right? But in Indonesia, in the 80s, Indonesia is just a rapidly developing countries. So we are focusing on economic very much. So we are not really considering the ecosystem and etc. Not until 1982, when the UN Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro held, I was hearing about the first time about sustainability, about back to nature. That's when I was still in junior high school, I believe. That's when I'm first realized that in the future, I think back to nature is the way to go. Yeah.
I see. So, so you mentioned that your late father started Mira in the 80s. So what is it like in the 80s in terms of building such food production sustainably, right? What are some of the challenges then compared to now?
Yeah, it's very difficult as you can imagine, because there is no support whatsoever from the government, from the society, because the customer is also not really considering about sustainability, green technology and sets. But what can drive us forward is the result actually, because our first innovation is organic fertilizers back then. Back then in Indonesia, if you say about organic fertilizers, they just know about compost and manure, right? They are good for the environment, but they are not practical to use, and they are not really nutritious for the plants. So we are creating a new kind of organic fertilizer that are practical to use, and increasing the productivity for the farmers. So the productivity side really drive the business, right? Because sometimes people doesn't really care at that time about sustainability, but they care about the productivity. So every time we are talking about, also with Jala, right? When we are promoting sustainability, traceability, we cannot talk to them only about the sustainability part of it, because what they care actually in the day-to-day is the profitability. How can they manage to grow more shrimp, to decrease the disease infections, and etc. etc. So if we can achieve that, I think the sustainability part will follow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think today, we are looking at how to do sustainability profitably, and how to make the profits, sustainable.
Sustainably.
Yeah. So indeed, that is really what's happening today. So then, in the past, you're saying that things were difficult, the government was not supporting all this, but fast forward, 20, 30 years today, what kind of support then are you getting as founder, of Jalal, for example, right?
Yeah, in terms of support, I think they're still a bit tricky to say the least, because right now, if we talk about sustainability in the seafood production area, many of the exporters, because shrimp is mainly exported from Indonesia to overseas, mainly to the US and Europe and Japan. But this is also the things that are more market driven, I think. Because if the market does not demand for sustainable and traceable shrimp, there is no such initiatives in the upstream to achieve sustainability. That's why I think right now we are in the middle of a movement to become more sustainable. It leads not from the upstream but from the downstream. We are starting to hear that some of the buyers from Europe, they are demanding sustainable and traceable shrimp. That's, but this is still a small amount. I think less than 5% of the market right now, right? So it's still growing and growing, but it is going to the right direction, I think. Yeah, and I think if people here and also watching online, you are in the food industry or in the shrimp industry, I think if you are from the downstream industry, let's drive this industry towards sustainability, because the upstream part of it will follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I think, because it has really caught on now, right? This whole sustainable agri-tech, it has attracted a lot of investors, especially, internationally. So we are also seeing quite a lot of key players internationally that are also growing in this area. So what is most surprising, right? During this period, I mean, what are you most excited about?
Excited about in terms of what? In terms of the technology, or in terms of
anything that we are seeing the international players, right, getting so much attention, right?
Yeah. I think we see that the food industry in general, and not only seafood, is really starting to realize that doing sustainability is not only doing good for the environment, right? But this is also driving their profit forwards and etc. etc. But I think so many technologies right out there that I saw doing a lot of different things. On the extreme side, we see that to achieve sustainable food production, we can grow artificial meat for etc. For example, if you guys already know, there is a startup. One of my friend is called Finless Fish.
Finless fish.
Finless Fish is also doing artificial meat for seafood, and also the other startups. That's the extreme one. But for us, I think we are focusing on in Indonesia. There is still a lot of farms, and these farms are still very traditional in terms of operations, right? And they are still producing so much waste to the environment. So that part is really our focus right now. How can we reduce the impact to the environment? How can we reduce the impact to the how can we reduce the water usage, for example, and things like that.
So for Inmira, I mean, the focus was on agri-tech, forestry, and how did you then pivot to Jala, which is into shrimp production? As I understand.
Yeah, Jala is specialized in shrimp, only shrimp. But Inmira is focusing on agro-complex, as we call it, another area of agriculture. So actually, the crossover maybe. It is about in 2001 I started to know about shrimp farming because my father started to farm shrimp in Pekalongan area in the northern coastal of Java. That's when I'm really interested and got hooked by this shrimp farming because I love shrimp first of all. I love shrimp. Everyone loves shrimp, I think. And I'm very fascinated by how people farm shrimp because actually it looks quite easy for the beginning. Oh, you just have a pond, shrimp larvae, and then harvest. Right. Quite easy. But along the way, we found out so many complex things happening in the farm, right? Back in 2000 and fast forward to 2004, 2005, I was realizing that we see so many failed harvest in the past without knowing why. So without knowing exactly what happened in the farm, because usually you just farm by hunch, right? Because you see only you don't see the shrimp actually. You just see the water, right? So it's a bit murky water. It's not a clear water, so you cannot see the shrimp every day. You have to throw a net when you want to sample the shrimp. So when something happened, you don't know what happened. That's when I realized that we need to do something. I think I'm majoring in computer science, so that's why. And coincidentally, in 2004, I have a project from INCO, a nickel mining company in Sorowako in Sulawesi, to help them monitor their Sorowako site in Sulawesi from their headquarters in Canada. So they can monitor the Sulawesi site from Canada. But I'm in Yogyakarta, I cannot monitor my shrimp in Pekalongan. It's only five hours drive away. So it's very frustrating for me. Okay, I'm helping them to monitor thousands of miles away, but 5 hours away from my house, I cannot see my shrimp, my water quality. That's when I first have an idea about IoT for water quality monitoring. But in 2004, 2005, it was impossibly expensive for the shrimp farmers to adopt the technology, right? That's why it was postponed until 2015 when I found Jala with Liris, Sauki, and all of the co-founders of Jala That's when I see that, okay, this is the timing, and the technology is there, it's cheap enough for the shrimp farmers to afford, but it is not that easy, because actually the problem is not only about monitoring water quality, and along the way from 2015 to now 2022, we are still discovering new things that we can solve, that we need to solve along the supply chain of the industry. So it's quite a journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, in case the audience are wondering why monitoring water quality is so important for shrimp farming, right? It's because, you know, there are diseases that spread, you know, in the water. The shrimp crop, right, you know, can wipe out very, very quickly. So that's why it's important to kind of monitor the water contaminants and quality upfront and early, right? Early enough to give the detection for the farmers to then do something about it. Yeah. So
yeah, and because shrimp is very prone to stress, so every change in water quality, maybe only the pH from the morning till the evening changing more than 0.5,
right?
They become stressed,
right?
And when they are stressed, they are prone to disease,
right?
Things like that.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So thank you so much, Pak Aryo. So maybe we'll open up the questions to the floor and see if there's any questions that any of the audience have for our three founders. You know, it's really not easy for them to make a trip to Singapore. From I think Anissa and Akara came from Bandung, yeah, and Aryo from Yogyakarta. I know because I just made that trip not too long ago. There's no more direct flights now from Jogja and also from. So to make this trip, they really come a long way. You would take a car ride from anywhere from 3 to 4 hours because of the jam, from Bandung to Jakarta. And for Pak Aryo, I think he drove 6 hours from Jogja to Jakarta.
8 hours.
Yeah, 8 hours, right? Yeah, so double that. And then a 2-hour flight from Jakarta to Singapore. So they came all the way here. You know, we'd love to hear from the audience if there's any questions that you have for them. Yes, we have a gentleman, wearing the cap.
Hi, good morning, panelists. Thank you for sharing. My name is Hussein. So just a quick question. I think that for the three of you, you primarily started from science and technology in Indonesia. What about for founders who are based in Singapore? Given the price of certain things in Singapore due to the currency and all that, how does technology in Singapore enter Indonesia? And like what you mentioned, for the three of you, you mentioned that a lot of technology is adopted mainly because of demand. So how do Singaporean founders kind of make sure that whatever they are developing in Singapore is accessible and to the masses in Indonesia?
Me first? Okay. Yeah, I think it's not the money per se, but I think the value. You should think about the value of your solution to the customers, right? Because when you are introducing new technology, wherever the technology will be implemented, I think the customer will see that if they have a big problem that they are facing, and your solution can save them time, can save them money, can save them other effort to solve their problem, that's a value. So I think whenever you can create value for them, it would be easier for you to introduce your technology to the customers. Yeah.
Maybe I will also add. So yeah, I do believe the best way is the added value itself. So if it saves time, it will. So it, for example, the cashier right now started using the app. I mean, before they don't need to spend money for like posting, but after they found out that it saves time a lot, they will start to adopt it. And as for me, because I'm working in the hard tech, maybe something that they buy. So I believe what the goal is to create the value of the brands itself. So it has to make them feel good when they use it, not only because it looks good, but also because it brings them value and identity to them. Maybe let's
Yeah, so I want to add. So last Monday we visit the science park in the NUS, and we saw like the tech there is very cool. Like I don't even see that in Indonesia. So what I think, if Singaporean entrepreneurs want to go to Indonesia and apply some of their technology, I think what we need is collaboration, because Indonesian startup knows the problem. We know the challenge in Indonesia, but maybe we don't have the technology yet, and because it's easier in the NUS in Singapore ecosystem to access that technology, we could really collaborate. So me and myself, when I go into the expo, I saw a lot of potential collaboration for my startup. So I think it is one way to go is by collaboration.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have a gentleman.
Hi, I would just like to ask, for Jala, it would be very easy to, let's say, justify to your consumers, because you're increasing their productivity and you're giving them profit, so the cost is justified. But for Bell Society and Reservoir, sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce it.
Reservoir is right.
Reservoir, yeah. I would assume that the cost of producing these materials is added cost to the manufacturer, right? Or rather the end producer. And so how do you as a company justify to them this added cost of these materials?
Good question.
Okay. So as for the pricing, I haven't told it yet. So usually leather is cost about per meter is $50 to $70. So it's quite expensive, right? Our material is 40 to 50. So yeah, our goal is to make it more affordable. But maybe if you compare to synthetic leather, you will find out that synthetic leather is way cheaper. Yeah. But you know that maybe in Indonesia, the market itself isn't really ready for sustainable products. But so what we do is but they know that when they make a product that is more environmentally friendly, people will be more interested, not only from Indonesia, but also from outside of Indonesia. So at Bell Society, for example, the brands come to us because they want to expand their market, not only from Indonesia, but to the Europe market, to the Australian market. So the cost may be a little bit higher, but the market potential will also be grow. Yeah, that's maybe my answer to that.
Well, yeah, similar to Arka. So I will share the story of Port Block because we already sell it for 3 years. And the main reason why they bought Port Block, the first one is they got benefits from the government. Like it's kind of like incentive. If they implement some green technology, they could have like easier permits and things like that. So incentive for the government is important for like contractor and developers. The second one is they can market they can sell their property with a green or eco-friendly label. And because of the customer in the industry, like the architect or the property owner really need that kind of branding, they can charge them with higher price. That is why even though our Pro Block is a bit more expensive from the N16 one, they can still buy us. Like one of the case is I have a customer from Lombok, from the other island in Indonesia, and the distribution cost is the same with the price of the material. So it's that high, the distribution, but they still want to buy it because they think that it will make the property have a green branding. So I think that's a very important cost for them.
And then we have, I think, another question from the front.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. I think there was this one point that all of you guys raised, and it's about you need the downstream consumers to be more aware of sustainable technologies and sustainable demand to be able to affect upstream. So I know most of you guys are working in B2B market. So how what do you think is necessary and what are you guys working on to help educate the consumers downstream for each of you guys?
Who starts first? Okay, I start first. Yeah, I think we have not done enough to educate our end customers, because right now Jala is not directly selling the shrimp to the end customers yet, because we are still have so many homeworks in the upstream. So we still need to solve the water usage problems, the wastewater problem, and etc. etc. But in the future we are realizing that we will end up connecting directly to the end user. So yeah, I think in the future we will do more initiatives in educating the consumers directly.
Okay. As for you can do it first. Go.
As for block or reservoir, the flood disaster that getting worse every year is actually we don't want that. But as for educational part, that's great, because everybody aware of the flood, and then they starting to ask what can we do, and that's when we come. So in recent flood in Jakarta 2020, it's a very big flood there, and there's some media that that come to us and tell what can we do, and therefore we tell them. But apart from that, we also collaborate with our customer, the architect one. So in the construction industry, architect is like the consultant. So they don't purchase the product, but they make suggestion to the property owner, to the developer. So when we approach the architect, they will tell our product to other, like the developer and the property owner. Then they tell them to use that. So that's kind of education that we do, so that we don't educate all of the masses, the general public, but we focus on that segment, because they have the power to influence the other players. So that's from Block.
Thank you.
Lastly, from me, to educate the market. Yeah. So. In Indonesia, people are actually really interested to join something new. So what we hope is to give an example. So we have to make products that can be, they touch, they feel, they have to really be interested with the product. So at Bells right now, we are actually launching a Kickstarter campaign. So with that campaign, we are going to launch products. Partnering with local brands from Indonesia. We make shoes, we make all sorts of fashion accessory stuff, and also for the furniture stuff. You can visit our website at bellsociety.id. So yeah, we believe the best way to educate the market is just to show them that there are the products that made by this. It is good, it is sustainable, and yeah, we also believe that the best way is by providing the numbers. Yeah. How many waste are absorbed with every products that we made, what kind of certification that we get, the products, we are PETA vegan approved right now. So yeah, the best way is to show them the product and let them feel it by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, thank you for raising the point, and good luck, with your Kickstarter campaign. I think funding and investment, also has been a big, focus for Indonesia. I think some of you may know that, Indonesia has been attracting a lot of tech investors in the last decade or so. In fact, I think a lot of them are looking at Indonesia being the largest country in Southeast Asia, with a population size of almost 280 million today, 280. So, in the last 10 years or so, Indonesia has actually given rise to about 10 of 23 unicorns in Southeast Asia. So that is a big, significant number, and that's why a lot of investors are, getting into Indonesia. And of course, with climate change, COVID-19, right, that has accelerated, a lot of focus also on sustainability and ESG, because those unicorns that I mentioned, right, the 10 of them from Indonesia, are mostly in digital e-commerce, transportation type, right? So going forward, even us from Temasek Life Science Accelerator, we manage early stage biotech and life science fund, and we are starting to make investments into Indonesia and also co-investing with Indonesian investors in the green sustainability space. So maybe I'll ask a question to the three of you. How has your fundraising journey been? Has it been easy to find local investors, meaning Indonesian investors or overseas investors? Yeah, so maybe you could share with us your journey.
Yeah, okay. I think we are now in the phase of raising our Series A. But our previous fundraising has been up and down, I think, because our seed funding back in 2018 up until early 2019, it was quite easy for us to find investors that are interested in this area, in these sectors, especially from overseas, because back then from Indonesia, many of the VC that I'm talking to, they are only focusing on marketplace, digital technology, and things like that. Fintech. Fintech is very big back in 2018, I think, for Indonesian VCs. But we don't have enough attention from Indonesian VCs in 2018 to 19. But right now, I think we are starting to see that when we are mature a bit, and when the industry is a bit more mature, and with the COVID condition accelerate the people awareness about sustainability, about environment, and etc., we see the increase of interest from local and overseas investors. I think, but right now our investors is still 100% from overseas. We don't have any local investors yet from the previous rounds, but we are talking to some of the local investors right now for our round. Yeah.
What about you?
Oh yeah. So Bell Society is actually still on the angel rounds. So there are already some local that backs us. So fortunately for us, there is still some local people that are interested with us, but we believe that this will be a growing industry. So we have already sent our samples to some international brands. So with investment, it will make the products not even only better, but cheaper, because this is the scale will make the production even way cheaper. Actually, the technology itself is not very costly because we use waste. We use waste that is everywhere in Indonesia. Indonesia is a very abundant of waste. So by scaling, we can make it even cheaper than synthetic leather. This could really replace the synthetic leather. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Anissa?
As for Block, we haven't got any fundraise yet, but we do have lots of grants from the government and other parties as well. But I want to tell you about the challenge that we face, why we doesn't have any fundraising yet. Because I thought one point is that we have a low impact product. Like our impact, even though we can measure the performance, it is like 100 times faster than conventional paving block. It's with the same strength. We can go all on about that. But when it implemented on the site, our goal is to reducing flood risk, right? But we cannot really measure that. Like it will take the whole city to implement our power block to have impact on that reducing flood risk. That is why we cannot really tell the investor what is our impact, and it's just a challenge. I think we will need to solve it someday, how to measure the impact. But I think that's one of the cause, because maybe with digital or other technology, you can clearly set your impact, and maybe it could grow in a fast growing impact that you can see. But with our product, you need to be patient and I don't know, I didn't met any investor that can be that patient. So that's our challenge.
Thank you so much for your candid sharing. So yeah, so for the investors, family offices, funds out there listening to this, I would really encourage you all to look at more investments into Indonesia, particularly in the green technology, sustainability space. Yeah. Any other questions from the audience today? I know it's tough because we are between you and lunch. Okay, so maybe I will then ask each of our panelists today to maybe give one last final advice to entrepreneurs out there or investors out there. Anything you would like to say, in one final.
Okay. Yeah. I think from my side, I always think that in the future, with our population is increasing, and I think if we see the projections in 2030 or 2040, we will have 2.5 billion more people in this earth, right? And and all of them needs food. So we really need to think about how we produce food, and we really need to really think about the food that we consume right now. Make sure that we increase the sustainability part of it, because if not, I think with the population increase, this environment, this ecosystem cannot sustain the needs of food for 2.5 more billion people in the future, right? That's why I think for the entrepreneurs out there, I'm really want to see more startups in the sustainable food production sectors, because with many more startups working towards the same goal, I think that also will accelerate the attention from the investors. Yeah, because the industry has to grow fast and to attract more investors. I think that's one of the things.
Thank you, Pak Aryo. And Anissa, any advice you would give to female entrepreneurs out there?
Female entrepreneurs. Well, for female entrepreneur, I think it's just do it. Like, I think it's a good time to be a female entrepreneurs, because lots of the programs are focused on female founders. You just need to join all of them. So that's a great. But for the last statement that I want to tell you is that I come from problems. I come from the disaster part, right? We are the cause, but we also should be solve it. We are the one who can solve it. So let's solve all the problem in this world, and to make it easier, let's collaborate. So yeah, that's from.
Thank you, Anissa. And finally, Pak Akar.
Yeah, actually, it's the same, maybe. Yeah, let's collaborate. I think the faster way to make an impact is not to move by ourselves. So whether you are an investor, whether you are a startup founders, let's collaborate. And if you want to create more sustainable products, just contact us. We're ready here to help. Let's make some move. Yeah, that's all maybe. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to NUS Enterprise and Block 71 for organizing this panel. Thank you all for being here this morning and now, lunchtime. So, yeah, and thank you, most importantly, for joining us all the way from Indonesia.
Thank you very much for everyone. NUS Block 71.
Thank you.